today. This is going to be an awesome live. Going to learn a lot today. Just wanted to come on today on Thursday and talk about something really important. In fact, I saw a post today on Instagram and it was a psychologist talking about positive reinforcement. So I thought, you know what? Let's talk about positive reinforcement, because I don't know if you know how our brain works, but we work by rewards. Our brain rewards us. And this is one of the reasons why, to be honest, people who are not achieving their potential should be achieving their potential, but they're not. And it's to do with the reward pathway. And it's called positive reinforcement. And positive reinforcement is so important. You'll find out today in the live. Hi, Christian. Welcome to the live. Welcome, new people, anybody who's joining today. This is Brain Feed. This is the channel. This is the live to be on. Thank you so much for joining. Talking about positive reinforcement. So I'll start off with a little story. So as you're coming in, just feel free to say hi. Feel free to say something good. So yeah, I'll start off with a bit of a story today. I was talking to a kid who doesn't have the best behavior, to be honest. And I just wanted to say to him, like, you know, how can you feel better about yourself? I said that to him. I asked him, how can you feel better about yourself? You know what he said? He said something really interesting. He said, by doing good things to other people. And it made me think, like, that is so true. And then I asked him another question. I said, how does that make you feel when you do something good to somebody? And he said, it makes me feel confident. And that really was like a revelation to me, because I realized, you know what? The people who haven't been taught in life by their parents or whatever, they might be feeling like a lack, and they might be feeling, you know what, I'm not worth it, or, you know, just like feeling constantly down. But it's because they don't have that positive reinforcement in their head. And I think it's so important to have. As a human being, we all want that positive reinforcement. And it's kind of you telling your brain you're gonna achieve something without actually achieving it, but actually, like, it's kind of like reverse psychology, but it works so well. So let me ask you a question now. What is better? You telling somebody you need to go to the gym, you need to lose weight, or by saying to them, do you remember the last time you were going to the gym, you looked so healthy? You should try it out again. You should, you know, you should go back to the gym and maybe, but obviously don't say it like that, but you know where I'm getting, what I'm getting at. It's basically, that is positive reinforcement. It's basically telling somebody, kind of, or you can say it to yourself. You can be like, I want X or I want Y. I want something, but I don't have that yet, but, you know, that kind of thing. And it reinforces in your mind. It's like it's a good tool to have in your mind. So if you want to start something new, or you want to, you know, get back into good healthy habits, I think positive reinforcement is so important. Let's see what the chat's saying. So, has anyone experienced that in life? Anybody? About positive reinforcement. I think it's so important to have. There's also something called operant conditioning. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but that's also kind of like psychology. Let's see what the definition is. But it has to do with positive reinforcement as well. It's a method of learning that occurs through rewards and punishment for behavior. So that's important, I think. If you can, our brain learns through rewards. That's what I want you to realize through this live. That actually, our chemical pathway in our brain, it helps us when we're rewarded. So you don't learn stuff by beating yourself up. You learn stuff by rewarding your brain, by telling your brain, look, I once was better and I want to be like that. That's kind of like rewarding your brain and saying, it's pre-framing your brain, basically, to do better. And that is positive reinforcement. Awesome, Christian. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the people who do join. Yeah, so as you can see here, I pulled up a little picture. This. As you can see, this diagram basically shows you positive and negative. increase and decrease of behavior. The increase is basically from positive stimulus received, and it increases better behavior basically. So positivity is always a better thing. It's always the best thing. Um, how many times have you done something really good by being negative to yourself, by beating yourself up? You can be honest, you can be straight up to yourself, but if you're constantly living in a life of negativity, in a life of fear, in a life of that sort of thing, you're gonna be without any peace. I do not understand. Do you understand English? Maybe you don't speak English as well. I don't know. So basically, the key concept is positive reinforcement when something pleasant or rewarding is given after a specific behavior. Negative reinforcement, an attempt to increase a specific behavior by removing something that is negative when the behavior is done. Punishment. So you can either punish yourself or you can reward yourself for good behavior. And kind of sounds like, you know what, something that you do to a dog or something, but I feel like for us humans, in this specific area of like positivity and doing good, it's really important to positively reinforce. For example, in a class, you know, if a child is well behaved, the teacher puts a gold star or a sticker on the name, right? That's one example. But in your life, for example, positive reinforcement, for example, you know, you've been to the gym, right? You've been to the gym, and you've been going maybe 3 times a week, and you said to yourself, at the end of the week, I want to eat at a nice place out, you know, reward yourself. And I think you'll get further if you do things like that. Also for success, if you've been successful this week or in a month, and whatever you do, if you're successful, you should reward yourself. You should be like, hang on, I've done so well. Why am I not rewarding myself? I think we beat ourselves up too much in our life. We really beat ourselves up, and I don't know why we do. I don't know why we do that. Awesome. So somebody, a Christian, understands now. Yeah. I just thought I'd make this video because I'm like, you know what? I work with kids that have, you know, quite difficult to work with, and they have their own issues. And when I'm working with them, I realize actually what helps a lot is positive reinforcement. And it's not just saying you did so well. No, it's more like talking to them in a positive way, uh, hitting them where they had a lack of. So, you know, they might have a lack of that from bad parenting or something. So for me, it's important to like tell them, you know, stuff that actually helps you is the stuff that you've never done in your life. It's the stuff that you should be doing, and your instinct tells you actually that makes me feel good, but I never do it. And a lot of times in our life we're like that. We don't do the stuff that we should do, because we've just never been taught that. We just, you know, we've it's either who we've lived with or how we've been brought up, that kind of thing. So positive reinforcement is so important, so important. And apparently there is positive and negative punishment. I don't know, positive, negative reinforcement. You might want to look into that, but that's to do with operant conditioning. So it's a bit complicated, a bit complex, but I think it's something worth looking into, to be fair. Positive reinforcement is basically adding treats to increase good behavior. And you can do that in the grand scheme of things of life. So this is how operant conditioning works. I've worked it out. 2 pictures of mice. One is showing the mouse getting the food after an increase in behavior, and then the other one is a punishment introduced to decrease the behavior. Yeah. Specific consequences are associated with a voluntary behavior. That's really interesting. Operant conditioning. Reward or punishment. Howdy. I'm 10 years old. I'm not very good at math. I'm getting bullied in school. Yeah, school's tough. Sometimes for some people, school's tough. And that just means that people haven't understood you. So, hope that gets better for you. But, you don't have to be great at maths. Not everybody's great at maths, by the way. I'm okay at maths, but you don't have to be the best at maths. Yeah, so basically positive reinforcement is much more effective than punishment. And I'm seeing that in like society as well. Like Western culture, they use more positive reinforcement. Eastern culture, Eastern culture, they use a bit more like punishment. It's hugely generalized, but when you look at the data, I'm pretty sure that would show something similar to that. I don't know why that is. Maybe more research has been done, I don't know. But at the end of the day, everybody's different. But one thing that is true, new associations, new experiences, I feel like this idea of positive reinforcement is hugely undervalued and it's misunderstood basically. It's misunderstood because, well, they think it just applies for kids basically, that's what I'm seeing. Does it apply just for kids? Not really, because how many new things do you start with in your life after 25, after 20 years old? You want to try new things every single year. You want to try new things every 10 years of your life, every 5 years, because that's what really you know, it's what develops a person. So I feel like if you're not developing as a person, you don't see the value for positive reinforcement. When you do develop yourself, you see a massive value in positive reinforcement because that's the thing that is going to help you achieve more. It's the thing that's going to help you feel better. And even when you do fail or give up, this positive reinforcement thing is going to be the thing that's going to help you basically understand yourself more. Self-awareness. Realizing that punishment is actually not the best thing. Do you know what I mean? So, you can implement positive reinforcement in your daily life by setting goals, tracking progress, celebrating successes. That's one way. Well, 3 ways. And it's not always easy to implement reinforcement because there's obstacles. What are the obstacles of implementing positive reinforcement? Lack of motivation, fear of failure, fear of what other people are going to say. Because let's be honest, starting new things is not easy. Starting new things can be, leaping out into the unknown and potentially putting yourself out there and making yourself feel like a fool, potentially. And let's be honest, nobody cares. I'll tell you that, nobody cares. The importance of persistence and self-compassion. So, that also links back to what I was saying. If you're starting new things, your persistence needs to be very, very high, and you need to just be really persistent because starting new things is not easy. It's like, think about when you started to ride a bike when you were a kid. It was not easy because you knew you needed to persist in order to be able to ride that bike, and it's the same in our life. If you can't ride that bike, that's because you're not being persistent enough and you're just punishing yourself too much. And a lot of people say life is kind of like that. I would agree because it is. but it's not always easy. It's not always easy to it's not always easy to be self-compassionate either. I think it's so difficult. So whoever's watching today, I would really encourage you, like genuinely encourage you guys to implement this positive reinforcement strategy in your own life. And the only way you can do that is don't be too hard on yourself. That's my biggest advice, I'd say. Realize that you might be good at things that you are currently doing, but that doesn't mean you're good at life, because life is very dynamic. There's many things going on in life, and essentially if you're beating yourself up too much, you're gonna be frustrated yourself, and then what's gonna happen is you're gonna be really trying to perfect things in your life which cannot be perfected, and it comes in steps. So but that is why it's so important to do the positive reinforcement, because essentially what's happening is you are your own coach. You're like a coach. You're coaching yourself. You're like, you can do this, and I will do this. That's what I like to say to myself. I don't say that too often, to be honest, but it's kind of like a subconscious thing. I like to make sure that subconscious level of I can do it, you will do it, sort of thing, in a nice way. You don't force yourself to do things, because if you don't like it, what's the point forcing yourself to do it? But the point is, if you're trying out new things and you're doing things that you wouldn't do in the past because they're too hard, you still need to persist. So it's gonna be hard, but it's not like it's gonna be impossible. You know what I mean? You gotta have some grit in the game, and you gotta put yourself out there, I guess. Do I have some personal life experience in that? Yeah, I've tried loads of things, but I've not succeeded massively in everything. But most of the things that I did try, you know, you have to put it, at least give 90%, 90% minimum. If you give less than that, then there's no point. No worries, whoever cannot stay. Just thought this would be a good live to talk about, positive reinforcement, because as I said at the start of this live, I'm seeing this pattern within humans, and people who digest my content, people who I meet on a daily basis, weekly basis, whatever. It's not enough positive reinforcement. But then you could ask yourself this question: where is the lack of motivation? Why is there a lack of motivation? Sometimes that comes down to genuinely not trying hard enough. That could be a lack of motivation. Another lack of motivation could be you're not doing the right thing. That could be one. That's why it's so important to know yourself. To know yourself, because if you know enough about yourself, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, and you know what makes you excited, what makes you bored. For me, I just cannot do the same thing over and over. It just makes me bored. But obviously there's some things like the YouTube thing you got to do, that keep on top of it. But monotonous things, I just try to stay away from. Things that aren't really pushing me. Also, I'm quite a people person, so I know that being around people is great, but that's a bit of a topic for a separate. That's a topic for a separate live, basically. Thanks for the likes, by the way, whoever's joining. That's awesome to see. Awesome to see that. So let's go through some examples of positive reinforcement that I got pulled up here. So you can use in various areas of your life for positive reinforcement. One is health. So let's talk about health. Reward yourself with a healthy snack or treat after completing a workout or hitting a fitness goal. That's the most simple one, right? Use a fitness app. A lot of people use fitness apps that tracks your progress and rewards you with badges or achievements for hitting milestones. That's another positive reinforcement. Join a fitness challenge with friends or co-workers and celebrate each other's progress. That's a good one. Relationships. Praise your partner for doing something you appreciate, such as cooking a nice meal or completing a household chore. Can't speak today. Plan a special day or outing as a reward for achieving a relationship goal, such as improving communication or spending more quality time together. That's a good one. Write a love letter to make a small gift as a surprise positive reinforcement for your partner. So can you see where this is going? It's like you're doing things that are rewarding the person or yourself. So that's why it's so important, because then the person who you're with, they're gonna be happy. They're gonna see the value in that, and they're gonna be like, this person is thinks I'm important. That kind of thing. For work, what about work? Set specific achievable goals and reward yourself with a break or treat after completing them. Ask your boss for feedback or recognition for a job well done, or give yourself positive self-talk after accomplishing a task. See, again, positive self-talk is a part of positive reinforcement, because you're talking nicely to yourself. Because, at the end of the day, we love ourselves. Like, why would you not talk nicely about yourself? That kind of thing. Personal growth could be keep a journal or tracker of your progress towards a personal goal and reward yourself when you hit certain milestones. That's awesome. So it's always trackable events, progress towards it. So goals, trackable events, things that you can actually track. Because if you can track them, then you can you can see the final destination, and you're gonna be like, it's actually achievable. Or when you finish it, you'll be like, wow, I've done it. That's amazing. You could join a support group or accountability partner that provides positive reinforcement and encouragement. That's a good one. Another personal growth tip is attend a personal development workshop or retreat as a reward for achieving a significant personal goal. Never been to a personal development workshop, but I'm pretty sure it helps somebody. So remember, positive reinforcement is about recognizing and celebrating progress towards a goal or desired behavior. The key is to find what works for you and be consistent with the reinforcement so that it becomes a habit. So be consistent with reinforcement. Make sure it becomes a habit. So if you do it once, it'll make you feel good, but then you'll default back. But if you're constantly doing it, if you're constantly rewarding yourself, because let's be honest, our brain is a reward pathway. You think like the hormones that are released. Is it hormones? Yeah, it's hormones. The no, it's not. Is it a hormone? The reward thing that comes when you have something nice like chocolate. What is that? Well, that's like there's serotonin, right? And there's like, what's the main one? Dopamine. You know what I found out the other day? This is actually really interesting. Dopamine. You know why some people are genuinely like addicted to stress, which is actually like a genuine thing, is because when you're stressed, dopamine is actually released. So a little bit of dopamine. So you're not actually getting addicted to the stress. You're getting the addiction of the feeling of dopamine hitting your sensory thingy, my bobby. It's actually a neuromodulatory molecule, dopamine. That's interesting. It's a neurotransmitter and hormone. Yeah, so it's a hormone. So what I'm saying is, the more you release dopamine in the right way, not in the wrong way, like the wrong way, well, we all know what the wrong way is of releasing dopamine. But in terms of this, which is operant conditioning, which is what we've been talking about today, I know it's a bit like, what the hell is this? But all it means is, it's the process of learning to associate a response with a reward or punishment. So if you can train your brain to associate something with a reward, so for example, something that can help you to achieve better results with a reward, that's association, and your brain has recognized, that's great, I know that when I do that, I get X, or when I, reach a milestone, I'm gonna treat myself. So that kind of thing. And because of that, then you get the reward dopamine hit, and then your brain's like, wow, this is amazing. I am amazing. That's all it is. But then you get people who like don't understand the value of what I've just said on this live, and they'll be like, my life's a mess. I need to feel better. So then they start doing stupid things, and you know what? It might make you feel good for a little bit, and I've been there before. But the truth is, it doesn't make you feel good for a long time. It makes you feel good for a little while, and then you still hit with an even more deeper like feeling of feeling crap. So yeah. So this reward positive reinforcement is an interesting topic, and it hits on a few points. It hits on self-awareness, it hits on the fact that you need to get habits, the right habits, and that this positive reinforcement, if you get into the habit of doing it, your brain becomes wired the right way. That's essentially what it's saying. So people talk about rewiring your brain. That's what they're basically talking about, this positive reinforcement. But this is one part of it. Positive reinforcement is one part. Then positive punishment, whatever that means. We'll get to that. But I hope whoever joined today and stayed on this live, hi Christian, I hope you can work out how to reinforce yourself positively, how to get those reward pathway reconstructed, and to live your full potential essentially. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on the next live. Hope this was of value. I sure got value from this as well. And if you got any questions, hit me with a question. We'll love to discuss and chat about stuff. And if you join this live and you just join now, you might have to watch the replay, but do give me a like. It helps as well. Appreciate all of you. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.